All right. So the first one, uh, okay. So we are talking about more on our agenda today. That is uh, about 3 point key point, right? About talking about the cold sell or cold calling. Then how to develop the business from how we can develop the sales, right? So then I believe that I see most of students here pursuing either marketing or sale and so on. So before we start, I just have a question. So relevant to the cold sale, right? Cold calling and so on. Do you see that if the cold calling or cold sale that's still effective for the time being? So so we are talking about that's a cold sale or cold calling. That is one of the very much important in sales. But yeah, what do you think about? Is this still one of the important function of the sales roles for the time being?
If I may, I think it's very effective, but it requires a lot of resources to do it. So it needs to be focused on big clients most of the time.
Mm. Uh, okay, so any others opinion or comments on this one?
Well, at this moment, that is the first step that we need to take in order for you to reach your leads and start communicating or start delivering the introductory about the product that you're trying to sell.
Mm. Okay, yeah, right. So that's the first important point to reach out, right? But how's about the others, student? What do you think about the cold call in the sales cycle? Any others different opinions or ideas about that? Well, definitely, fully agree. Actually, I was in the sales life since early, well, the middle of since 1994. I joined the company, the first company, the German company, selling, like I mentioned, system integration on the server networking at that time. And the first job is doing I did the cold calling, right? So it was a very challenging for myself to do the cold calling and had to reach out to only those at a time, and with the IT, even the finance manager, and both Vietnamese or foreigner as well. It was a very challenging, but it was actually this is cold calling is still depends on the business we are running now, right? So now I want to separate into two kind of business. If we are doing the B2B or B2C, right? So let's say talking about a B2C, if we are selling the products to B2C, that's let's say consumer, right? Let's say if we are selling bank services, private bank services, or insurance, and so on, right? So those one definitely cold calling is important. Or we are selling properties, yes, cold calling. But if we are doing the B2B business, so do you think that's a cold calling is still effective? Now, we know this is necessary, but do you think that a cold calling will be efficient method to reach out to the B2B customer?
You are asking, right?
Yes, yeah. My
Yeah.
question. So yeah.
Okay, so from my experience, I think that cold call is necessary to catch up directly to our lead. But actually, to close a deal in B2B, we have to lead to the meeting, and in meeting we have to spend at least 15 minutes to share about the proposal and make our lead understand our solution as well. And it could not conduct and close on the deal in the phone call. This is my experience.
Right. So, following your okay, any others ideas about this one?
Mr. Duke, I just want to share my real experience because for me, because I did quite a lot of B2B in the education, but normally, this is just my opinion, if I never known that person, I rarely call them because B2B sometimes it takes time, but if I have a previous connection from my friend, for example, my friend connects me to that person, and then I'm really confident, and then I will pick up the phone, and then it's still really effective. But if you never know each other, you have to be really careful because it's quite if you suddenly call someone and then you are so salesy at the first time, it's so, disturbing, and for me it's kind of rude. It's just my sharing. Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the key success factor in the cold calling? What do you think? What is our key success factor for the cold calling? What your experience about that, or any ideas about the success factors? And now today, right? I can tell you, everyone have experience. I don't know if a student may have experience that, but I believe that some senior who has joined in workforce, you may have the experience. Every day we can easily receive about at least 10 cold call from different services, right? From banking, from insurance, from property, from car, automotive, and so on, right? So at least 10 call a day. So then what are the key success factor to do the efficient cold calling then?
Well, basically, cold calling is a marketing strategy which will inflate your sales effectively. So in order to do that, since it's a strategy, part of your marketing and sales process to keep your pipeline full. So basically, you have to make sure that when you start a cold calling, it should be interesting. And the person who's listening on the other side should be able to engage and listen to you. So you need to have the persuasive skill by giving a very short, brief, but compact introduction about yourself, your organization, and the product that you're going to convey the message. So throughout these cold calls, which can last about 10 to 15 minutes, it should be very catchy and it should be very interesting rather than being very monotonous. So which means that you need to deliver all the message accurately and precisely, and it should be very comprehensive.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So very clearly, that's very important, right? But any others different ideas? That's a good point, Siva. Yeah. Any other ideas about this? So what's that's you mentioned about short, right, and sharp message. We think about 15 minutes, but how can we get through the 15 minutes, right? Sometimes we just talk only 1 minute, and we cannot have a chance to talk further, right? So that's I think short and sharp and very brief about our message. That's yeah, definitely. That's we I think this is still second factors, because we already get a kind of agreement from recipients to accept our code. But before that, how can we get through the first few minutes